Very violent knockouts. Do you ever look back at the knockouts?
No, I only enjoy when I look at that, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, because, you know, we're in a fighting sport, you know, and everybody trains hard to win, and a knockout is the most beautiful thing in our sports, you know. They come to the ring to knock me out also. Mm. So, yeah. You know, for me, you know,
no remorse.
No, nothing.
Okay.
If I meet again, I try to knock him out even worse than before, you know.
Take the Stefan Lecco knockout out of the equation, because it was brilliant on its own. Of all the other knockouts you've scored, I mean, you know, knockouts: Recefo, Glebe Feitosa, Karayev, Doug Viney, Fujimoto, Alistair Overeem. If you could only remember one of these knockouts as the knockout and how it felt, your glove connecting, your foot connecting, which is the one knockout that most stands out for you?
I have two, you know. Mm-hmm. My first one was my second fight with Karayev.
Yep.
There was a strange fight, you know. I got knocked down and I stood up. And to be honest, when he knocked me down, I didn't remember anything until Mike was in the ring screaming.
Really?
I was like, you know what happened, you know?
Wow.
So I didn't realize that I knocked him out. So because I was still but my body and my unconsciousness maybe just reacted on the moment. And the second one was against Alistair. That was a very one of my happiest moments in my career, you know, because I was waiting for that fight for like 1 year, and I was like, I just hated that guy, you know.
Yeah.
I was so and when that happened in the Grand Prix, I was like, yeah, you know, I told you guys he's not my competition, you know. He was just lucky the first time. So
let's talk a bit more about that, because you and I tag teamed Alistair on that occasion. It's no secret. I set it up at the press conference. It was the best press conference ever. Come on, we did well, man. We got to shake on that. We tore it up at the press conference.
Yeah, we were good. We were good.
And you came out of the press conference and I was sort of looking for someone to defend K1, because Alistair was coming in saying that he's going to tear through K1, and the K1's weak compared to mixed martial arts. Yeah. So Remy stepped up, and he called on someone as well. He said, I'll defend the honour of K1, who else is going to step up? And then I called you up to the podium, and you stood there, if I remember, for 30 seconds silent. It's like you didn't know what you were going to say. And then all of a sudden you said, Alistair, if I meet you in the Grand Prix, you won't last 3 minutes with me.
Yeah.
Had that been something that had already been going through your mind, or was it something that happened there at the press conference? Had you already rehearsed that in your mind, or was it just a spur of the moment that you came out with that challenge? Because it was amazing that you challenged him to finish him in 3 minutes, and you did.
Yeah, you know what it is? It was because he came to the press conference, and he was like, you know, all these guys over here, none of them will last with me in an octagon for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this guy saying? You know, is he really thinking? Because I know he's good for what he is, but he's not my level, you know. And I was like, hey, this guy he cannot say this, you know. And I was looking left and I was looking right, and everybody was just sitting and saying nothing. I was like, I cannot. So I stood up and I was like thinking, like, okay, how should I answer this guy, you know? So I just made the same promise as he did to us. And just telling him that he cannot stand up with me for 3 minutes in a K1 ring, you know. It was just the moment that made me say that. And of course, after when I said it, I was like, hey, Mike, I'm really going to knock him out tomorrow, you know, first round.
Yeah.
So,
and you did?
Yeah.
So you deliberately backed yourself into a corner, put that pressure on yourself to make yourself perform the next night.
I like the pressure. I enjoy.
It was a great storyline. It worked out well. You know, hate is a very strong word, but you said you hated Alistair. Is the hatred still there for Alistair?
No. Nothing at all, you know, because I just hate a fighter when I have to fight him, you know. Then I really start hating him, his dog, his cat, his wife, his, you know, I'm that guy, you know. I'm heating myself up with all those things.
Is that every fighter you fight that's like that, or was Alistair a special case where you actually hated him more?
Yeah, he had maybe a little bit extra, you know,
because
of course he was coming to K1 like he's the big hero, you know, and of course he made some good fights, but he's not my level fighter, you know. And of course, he had a little bit of cockiness, you know, like, you know, these guys are nothing. And I was like, okay, you know, don't worry.
How do you explain Dynamite 2009?
Yeah, Dynamite was a fucked up situation, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot was happening. You'd been disqualified in the Grand Prix, which we'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah.
The troubles with the gym,
Yeah.
Mike's gym burning down.
Yeah.
You only having 3 weeks to prepare for Dynamite when you're going through so much emotional turmoil, the gym and the disqualification. And you know, the world was shocked when Alistair knocked you out and knocked you out so quickly.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, you know, I don't like excuses, you know, for losses. When you lose because you choose to fight, and you know what the consequence can be. So I'm not making any excuses for that fight I lost. But for me, it was a difficult period in my career. You know, I had a rough tournament. You know, I fought Peter in the first, Zimmerman in the second, and after that I got disqualified against Bonjanski. When I got disqualified, you know, the whole world was unbothered, you know. I was the big, terrible guy. Everybody hated. I disappointed people, and K1 should throw me out. And they were talking about, you don't get your money, we give you extra, you have to pay us. And I had all these things happening, and I was like, okay, you know. And it was only 2.5 weeks before Dynamite. Then they called me up like 10 days after the event. Hey, listen, you know what? You can fight. I was like, I'm disqualified, you know. I'm like, they were talking about like, you don't fight for a year, you don't fight for like the next Grand Prix. And then they called me like, hey, you can fight. I was like, fight? Yeah, when? Yeah, Dynamite. To make it up with us. Huh. I was like, okay, make it up with you. I don't know what, you know, and we just took that fight, and they said, yeah, if you fight Dynamite, we'll forgive you, you know, and we think about it with how we do our future with you. And I was like, okay, you know, you're fighting Krokop. I was like, no, okay, no problem, you know. In a kickboxing match, I was like, no, good. Then they called me a week later, no, it's not Krokop, we're going to be Alistair Overeem. And I remember Alistair Overeem back in his days. I was like, this guy cannot fight. He's not a kickboxer. I was like, okay, you know, Mike, this is an easy opponent. Just do it. And went back again to Japan and stepped in the ring. After that fight, I made a stupid choice, you know, to take that fight. But I took it. He knocked me out in like the first round. And yeah.
Is it hard to watch that fight?
No, not anymore, not anymore. If I look at it now, I'm like, you know, no problem, you know. But I think the 6 months after the fight, I still couldn't watch that fight, you know. I was like, damn, how could I be so stupid, you know, to take it out so easy and take the fight so...
Can Alistair call himself the true K1 world champion without you having been in that tournament last year?
Yeah, of course, you know. Of course, he can say that, you know. He is the true champion. He fought the tournament. He won with the guys who were there at that moment. So it was my mistake that I wasn't there. But he won. He's the champion. I won't say that he's not, you know.
He's improved a lot, though, hasn't he? In his stand-up. Or do you believe he's improved a lot?
Yeah, he become better, you know.
Could he last past 3 minutes with you now?
In his dreams.
Really?
Yeah, never.
How does it end?
Knockout.
How?
I don't know. I think the same as before, you know. I think I'll punch him out. He's not a guy who can take a lot, you know. He's just very strong. And he got some good skills, you know. He's not a bad fighter, and I think he can beat maybe 90% of all those stand-up fighters, you know, and maybe have difficulties with five people, you know. He's a top 5 kickboxer, you know. We can't take that off. We cannot say that he's lucky, you know. That would be stupid, and that will be false, you know, if I say that. So he's a top 5 world fighter, top class, you know. So he's a difficult opponent for everybody, but he's not my class, you know. I can knock him out every minute of the fight.
You once hopped in the ring in Japan during a Dreams show.
Yeah.
And said that mixed martial arts was a bunch of hugging and kissing.
Yeah.
Was that you talking, or was that the promotion that wanted you to say that? Because a lot of mixed martial artists around the world got really pissed off when you said that.
Yeah.
Was that you saying it, or were you told to say that?
Yeah, it's not. I just said it. And if I said it, or I had to say it, or you know, that was my choice to say it. And I was just firing up the situation, you know, because I knew what was coming up. For us, it was a big stunt, you know, because we were not expecting that Alistair would win from Krokop. Our main goal was to have Krokop back. for a K1 fight with me. But Krokop lost that fight, and it didn't went how we wanted. You know, I like to promote things, you know, and I like to say those kind of things when I have the chance to say it.
You fought mixed martial arts once,
yeah,
early in your career. You lost, but you were a last-minute replacement.
Yeah.
Would you ever fight mixed martial arts again, or it's just not you?
I don't know. You know, I enjoy kickboxing a lot, and mixed martial arts. I don't know. I see myself if I have to change sports. I see myself rather boxing than step into MMA. You know, so I like the stand-up skills. You know, I like the art of boxing. So I don't know. You know, I don't think about it really at the moment.
You've done some groundwork, though? Have you done some grappling work?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I think I remember George Santiago might have been saying that you actually didn't have too bad a skill on the ground. You were okay, you could handle yourself.
Yeah, George, I train with him sometimes. He's a good fighter, you know. He's very, very, very skilled on the ground. In the gym, he's the best. I trained with him, and he was like, "Hey, buddy, you're really good. You can do something with this, you know." But again, I don't like the higging and the kissing, and the kissing, you know. So I don't have a plan, you know. But like I said, if I had to make a change, it would be rather boxing than go MMA.
You spoke about Krokop. It never did eventuate a fight between you and him. If it was to be promoted, you know, this year, kickboxing rules, K1 rules, you'd knock out Krokop. How do you think that would go down?
You know, my intentions are always to knock somebody out. And maybe it sounds strange, but I can say that I'm a knockout artist. You know, I knock maybe 95% of my opponents out, so I think I can say it. Krokop is a good fighter. You know, in his days he was one of the greatest. I was a fan of him also. You know, he had some great knockouts also on his name, but he went to difficult situations the last couple of years. You know, so you don't know what kind of Krokop you get in front of you. Yeah, I don't think he would last it. He would last long with me. So I think his mind and his body is too damaged, you know, to stay up and keep the fight up.
The red light district, Amsterdam's wild and crazy side. And you know that Badahari has a wild and crazy side that stems from some very deep anger issues. When we return for The Voice versus Badahari, I'll probe deep into his heart and soul and try and find out why the hell Badahari is so damn angry. We're back here in the red light district of Amsterdam where things get wild and crazy every night. You know, Badahari's got a wild and crazy side that has led him into a lot of trouble both inside the ring and outside of the ring. He's been disqualified several times and also had some brushes with the law. As you're about to find out as I probe deep into these anger management issues of Badahari to see just what so affected him. I want to go back to 2006, New Zealand. Your ego was running high then again. You came to New Zealand talking the talk, the smack talk. Another press conference I hosted, by the way. We make a great team, man.
Sometimes.
And you and Peter Graham were scheduled to fight, and you got into a street fight at the press conference that was caught on a lot of cameras. What triggered that with you and Peter?
I think at that moment in my life, I had a little bit of... I didn't really know who I am, you know. I was a little bit maybe unsure or something, and like I have to prove myself against the world, and you know, I just want to, I just wanted people to see me, you know. I was just a kid, and at the press conference, I went to him and I was like talking with him, and I don't remember what happened. I thought he wanted to kiss me on the cheek or something, and I was like, hey, you know, what you doing, you know? Just tried to knock him out, you know, but I missed twice, so it wasn't a good offense.
He knocked you out with, again, one of the most spectacular knockouts ever. It was a rolling thunder kick.
Yeah, broke my jaw.
In two places?
Yeah.
Man, what was that like? I mean, I was amazed you even came back after that. To me, that was almost a career-ending injury that other people would have retired from.
Yeah. No, listen, if they want me to retire, I think they have to kill me first. Because I don't believe in giving up, and but the knockout was very hard. He knocked me really out.
It came in the final 10 seconds of a match you were winning.
6
seconds of a match you were winning. He throws one last kick, a rolling thunder, and boom.